Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into why Black Ops 6 feels rigged, and spoiler alert, AI plays a massive role in it, and I'll be breaking down exactly how these systems manipulate gameplay and why it feels like the odds are stacked against you. And if you're new here or haven't watched my last video, or even BlameTruth and PrimePete's videos, you'll definitely want to check those out first, because BlameTruth talks about how Black Ops 6 sometimes doesn't fully close if you quit to desktop, and PrimePete dives into how Activision tracks your data, like your skins and loadouts, to maybe influence your experience. And together they give the full picture, so to say, right, and set the stage for what we're discussing today. And I guess my recent video, I'll put it in the info card somewhere and put BlameTruth and PrimePete's video in the video description below. So if you're all caught up, let's jump straight into it. And guys, this is me from the future after editing the video, so to say, and I had to get some gameplay, obviously, right? And I'm very interested, very curious on how the bots are doing in Black Ops 6, and let me tell you guys, I had the worst experience, like the worst game since I have played Black Ops 6. Like, this feels so rigged. It was lagging the whole time, like half a second delay. I had like weird movement. It felt like I was not playing on mouse and keyboard, because every game feels like different sensitivity. And if you look at the kill cams, if you watch how fast I die again, you can tell that this game is completely rigged. And this was just after one game, right? So the gameplay that you see right now is the first game, and I have to play a second one, and I doubt that the second game will look any different. Probably be worse, since we won the last game. Very, very close. So let's see, guys. You will see. Okay, so I'm completely done now. I played the second game and it is completely rigged. It was worse than the first game, and I even wrote again in the chat that it is a bot game, and this one guy in the enemy team goes like, well, says the one with auto aim. Like, what? Like, I'm playing on PC, mouse and keyboard. I would argue that I'm the most legitimate player in these lobbies, because the rest is just bots and or cheaters. I don't even know what's going on. You can watch it for yourself, but I'm completely done. I will now uninstall this game in peace and probably factory reset my PC, because I don't want that stuff on my PC, to be honest. Alright, so let us start with AI and what can go wrong when it comes to AI learning. There's something called the feedback loop, right? And AI, particularly machine learning systems, they thrive on data. And the idea is that the more data they process, the more accurate they become. However, AI doesn't inherently understand the nuances of human behavior. Obviously, right? It just recognizes patterns, and when AI is trained on improper or biased data, it can make decisions that seem illogical or harmful to human players. And the reason for that are feedback loops. In the case of Black Ops 6, if AI bots are learning from the game's player data, whether it's human or bot generated, they could start mimicking poor player behavior or incorrect game strategies. For example, if bots are learning from players who are exploiting certain in-game mechanics, the AI will adopt and preserve those behaviors. And this can cause the game to feel unnatural or broken, because the AI is reinforcing and expanding upon behaviors that should be corrected. And this is particularly evident in some cases where bots seem to have learned behaviors directly from cheaters, right? You've probably noticed instances where bots aim through walls or laser you with perfect accuracy, almost if they're using aimbots and wall hacks. And it's clear that the AI may have picked up these tactics from cheaters, either due to flawed training data or feedback loops in the system. And over time, as bots become more sophisticated, they also become more unpredictable, right? Leading to situations where legitimate players are shadow banned for reasons that aren't clear, right? Many in the community have experienced this firsthand, where they are flagged by the system without having done anything wrong. And it raises an important question. Why are so many players being shadow banned? And is it because the AI is learning behaviors it was never supposed to? Which brings me to the next topic, which is the so-called AI's blind spot. It's missing the human touch. And this is another problem with AI-driven systems, because they often miss subtle human factors. For example, AI might not be able to distinguish between human intuition and mechanical responses. And this becomes an issue when you start seeing unnatural movements, predictable behavior, or or even wrongful identification of players as bots or cheaters. And AI can only learn from the data it's given. And if the data is poorly structured, it can mess with the entire system. And the reason for that is called overfitting and unnatural behavior. If the game's AI is trained too aggressively on a particular set of player actions, even if it's just bots, it could cause overfitting, right? And that's a term in machine learning where the AI becomes too attuned to specific patterns, making it unable to adapt to new, unexpected player behavior. And this overfitting could also explain the roller coaster effect that many players experience in games, right? Sometimes it feels like the game is favoring you and your team, only to suddenly flip a switch and favor the opposition. And in matchmaking, the same effect applies, right? A streak of easy games followed by frustratingly difficult ones, and overfitting creates patterns in AI-driven systems that make games just feel off. The whole experience is just rigged, as if something about the opponent's actions doesn't quite align with normal human behavior. And for example, the overfitting issue may cause bots to mimic a specific playstyle, like, wall hack so rigidly that they feel robotic, even when you're facing human players in that lobby as well. So this creates an unnatural experience where the AI's behavior not only disrupts immersion, but also adds to the frustration of inconsistent gameplay. And next up, we have AI-driven bots reinforcing each other's mistakes. And this is kind of bad, right? Like I mentioned before, machine learning systems rely on feedback loops where AI-generated bots can continually reinforce their own behaviors. But if one bot develops a tendency to, say, run in a predictable pattern or always camp in one spot, that behavior can spread to other bots that are trained on the same patterns. And the reason for that is the AI's self-reinforcement. Because once AI bots are deployed in a live environment, they continuously learn from one another, right? And this creates a circular loop of poor behavior. For example, if one bot starts pre-aiming like a wall hacker because it has learned that behavior from a cheater or a flawed data set, the AI might deem this behavior successful, right? And spread it to other bots. And over time, these behaviors compound, creating a network of bots that mimic actions that feel suspiciously like cheating. And we also have something called propagation of errors. As more bots enter the system, these issues escalate, right? Making the game feel robotic and artificial. And what might begin as a minor flaw in one's bot's programming can evolve into a systematic issue as bots learn from each other's mistakes and amplify them. Which also ties into the cheating issue again, right? That frustrates so many players, because if bots start mimicking pre-aiming through walls or using movements that resemble wall hacking, and the system marks those actions as successful kills, the AI will continue to adopt and reinforce those behaviors. Also, this behavior might extend to the use of specific weapon skins, right? For instance, if a bot or even a player using a particular weapon skin outperforms others, the AI might learn to associate that skin with success and prioritize it, further messing with the gameplay. And you can see clear evidence of this on maps like Nuketown, where bots often display repetitive movement patterns or gravitate to specific camping spots, right? And these behaviors, while predictable, can feel unnatural and ruin the flow of the game. And as a result, it's not just the bots that feel off, right? It also affects the human player's experience, making the game feel less immersive and more like a chaotic simulation. Which brings us to AI's false positives and shadow bans. And this is where things get a bit darker, if you ask me. If AI bots are being used to detect suspicious behavior or cheats in the game, they might generate false positives. And false positives occur when the system flags something as a problem, like cheating or botting, when it's actually not. And AI-driven anti-cheat systems could be learning to wrongly associate certain behaviors with cheating, leading to shadow bans for innocent players. And the reason for that is the lack of contextual understanding, because the AI doesn't have the contextual understanding that humans do. For example, a player might use quick movement or strategic positioning, so to say, that the AI misinterprets as cheating. And at the same time, players who disable certain features like voice chat might be flagged as suspicious, even if they're just prioritizing privacy, because the AI cannot differentiate between a genuine cheat and a legitimate action that simply doesn't fit the expected pattern. And these AI-generated patterns just create confusion. The bot-like patterns of these AI systems can also make legitimate players seem suspicious, because if a player happens to mimic a movement or behavior that the AI associates with cheating, they can end up being shadow banned without any explanation. And just think about it, right? There are countless people in the community claiming they've been shadow banned for no reason at all. Maybe it was a specific way they move, a particular elimination or something as trivial as turning off their voice chat. Who knows? It doesn't make any sense, right? And it raises serious suspicions about how these systems operate. And the only way to check is through Activision's website, but even then, so many people are wrongfully shadow banned, and this not only frustrates players, but also erodes trust in the game's anti-cheat measures. And as we'll see, this ties perfectly to the next topic. Because next up we have peripherals and data collection. You know, how AI is collecting more than just gameplay information. So let's delve into the data collection side of AI. And in modern games, especially those with AI-driven systems, peripherals like your mouse, keyboard, headset, and even webcams are often tapped for data collection. And while this is often justified for performance tracking or user feedback, it can also be used to fuel AI algorithms in ways that go far beyond gameplay. And the reason again is data, comprehensive data, right? AI isn't just learning how you play, it's trying to learn everything about you. By collecting data from your peripherals, it gets a richer understanding of your behavior, enabling it to tweak the game's difficulty, adjust AI responses, or even enhance the learning process for bots. And this is where also shadow player profiles come in, right? This data collection allows the AI to create a shadow player profile that mirrors your habits, movements, and choices. And without you even realizing it, this shadow profile could be used to train bots to behave more like real players. And over time, this makes it harder to differentiate between bots and actual human players, ultimately distorting the player experience. Now, here's where things get interesting and a bit concerning if you ask me, because Exclusive Ace made a video explaining how you can download your player profile data from the game, right? Which is neat, but let's be real, it doesn't show the other data that's being collected. And this ties directly into a patent related to microtransactions, which grants access to your peripherals, and maybe some people will start to see the bigger picture now. Because this could explain why it feels like your in-game experience is being rigged, right? The more data the system collects, the better it trains bots and algorithms, you know, and the harder it becomes to have a fair, organic match. And that shadow player essentially links back to the patent about transparently styling NPCs, which is covered in my recent videos. This also ties into my latest upload, right? We talk about a patent that was filed, which highlights exactly how such systems work. And if you're still unsure, I highly recommend watching that video to catch up, because this could also explain the reports from players claiming they were kicked out of a lobby as if someone else was playing on their account, right? And this could be the game using the data to train a shadow NPC, so to say. And here's a far-reaching but not impossible idea. What if your shadow ban on Activision's website isn't just a ban, but instead an indication that your account is being tested in bot lobbies? And you can also tie this again to BlameTruth video, where he's explaining that if you quit the game to the desktop, that it somehow still keeps running, right? And tie it with the patent that I talked about in my recent video, and you get a bigger picture, because the patent allows them to run bot lobbies and bot simulations with your client, and even if the game is not running, right? Because the patent states that if the system is in standby or idle mode, it can still happen. And we have, of course, microtransactions, right? The misuse of AI-driven microtransactions and monetization systems, because AI has increasingly been integrated into monetization systems. And these microtransactions and pay-to-win elements in modern games often use AI to dynamically adjust pricing or tailor in-game purchases based on player behavior. And while this might sound like a smart use of technology, it raises serious concerns about fairness and manipulation. And if you ask me, the monetization goes way too far, because it's like player profiling for microtransactions, right? In Black Ops 6, for example, the AI might be analyzing your playstyle and behavior to decide how to market microtransactions to you. And players have reported seeing different prices for the same bundles based on their COD point balance. Imagine that. Like, this is an unsettling hint that the infamous microtransaction patent could be in use. And then, of course, we have the manipulative tactics, because many players feel the game manipulates them into buying items by constantly showcasing others with skins, bundles, weapons, you know, creating that psychological nudge to keep up, you know, fear of missing out. But it's not just a feeling, it's a strategy. And AI could even be artificially inflating difficulty or engineering frustration situations to make in-game purchases seem like the only option. And here's where things get more thought-provoking. I mean, just think about it, right? How is that some players continue to defend the game, claiming they enjoy it, even after the game has almost lost 50% of its player base? Maybe, right? I'm just saying, just maybe, these players are benefiting from what feels like a rigged system, which ties to PrimePete's video that I would suggest you watch. So the term skill-based damage arises again, right? And it sounds absurd. I know that, but what if the AI was subtly tweaking game mechanics to favor some players and to disadvantage others? Like suddenly the defenders of the game make the most sense because they're the ones enjoying the perks while others are left frustrated. And then again, we have the constant stream of monetization, right? We have events, bundles, battle passes, battle pass in a battle pass with this Squid Game thing going on. I don't even know what that is. And black sale packs, shoved in players' faces. And the community has been vocal, with almost every content creator either criticizing or discussing the microtransaction problem. So if you're frustrated with the game and feel like it's pushing you to spend, you're not alone, because the patterns are too consistent to ignore, and the backlash against these AI-driven monetization tactics speaks volumes. And last but not least, to sum it all up, we're talking about the AI's role in predicting and shaping player behavior. And we've come to one of the most controversial roles AI plays in modern games: predicting and shaping player behavior. Because AI doesn't just analyze your current gameplay, it tries to anticipate your future actions. And while the idea is to create a more dynamic and immersive experience, the execution often falls flat, leading to frustration and skepticism among players. And the simple reason for that is the AI is predicting player behavior incorrectly. We have flawed predictive models in the game, and the AI might use predictive algorithms to adjust game difficulty, create challenges, or keep players engaged, right? But when these predictions misinterpret your intentions or prioritize profit over player satisfaction, they backfire. And this is why some players report feeling like they're battling against a rigged system that's not on their side, right? An experience that feels artificial and manipulative. And this is where I have to set the record straight again. There is no skill-based matchmaking. Skill doesn't matter anymore. Your data and money do, right? Activision's engagement-optimized matchmaking system is not about fair competition. It's about maximizing engagement and ultimately revenue. And I mean, the engagement-optimized matchmaking is also an algorithm, probably trained by AI. And just think about it. Why has Black Ops 6 lost over 50% of its player base? Why do so many players describe the game as frustrating? And all the patterns, the frustrations, and the player experiences are not isolated incidents, guys. They all add up. From their matchmaking system to microtransactions and even their NPC pattern. It's clear that these mechanics are likely at work in the game. And the scary part is it feels like the AI is actively using your data to shape your experience. And not in your favor, but to keep you hooked, spending, and engaged. So guys, it's time to wake up. These systems aren't just a minor annoyance, they are a fundamental shift in how games are designed and monetized, and the dynamic gameplay you're experiencing might be less about fun and more about manipulating your behavior to serve corporate interests. And that's basically it, guys. This is how and why AI rigged Black Ops 6 right from the beginning. And what started as speculation, with this AI-Slop and here and there, it's increasingly supported by patents and the community observations and first-hand experiences. And AI in gaming is no longer just about improving the experience. It's about maximizing engagement, profit, and control over how we play. And from matchmaking system that seem to prioritize spending over skill to microtransaction tailored to your data, the evidence points to a future where games are less about fun and more about optimization. And I think the Steam charts show that. You can't deny that. And we don't even know if these numbers are true, if you ask me, because of the pattern that we have bots and all that stuff and that they could simulate matches. Who is saying that these simulated matches won't count into the Steam charts? I'm just saying. But the gaming community is waking up, right? Players are frustrated, and the exodus from titles like Black Ops 6 or even Apex Legends are proof that people are rejecting these manipulative systems. But raising awareness isn't enough. We need to hold developers accountable and demand transparency and push for a return to experiences driven by creativity, fairness, and genuine competition. I mean, just think about it. It's the AI that thinks it can keep you engaged by giving you these roller coaster experiences and all that stuff, all the patents that they have, right? It is just not genuine. It's not authentic. It feels very artificial, and you can tell because the whole game just feels completely rigged. And even Call of Duty pros are quitting the game. Streamers are quitting the game. Like, it is too late already. Like, for Black Ops 6, it is too late. But this is like only the beginning of what we will see in the gaming industry. And it's quite concerning if you ask me. And the choice is ours, you know, do we accept this new reality or do we push back and remind Activision that gaming is about passion and fun and not just profits? And that's going to wrap it up for today, guys. I actually had different videos planned, but BT's and PrimePete's latest videos brought some new insights to the AI discussion, so I felt this was important to address. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button to help it reach more people through the algorithm. Leave your thoughts in the comments, and I'd love to hear what you think about how AI is shaping Black Ops 6 and the future of gaming. Right? Subscribe for more deep dives on topics like this, and share this video with anyone who needs to understand how and why AI is rigging your games. Until next time, take care, guys.